Hello everyone, Matt Watson here from CarWow. As you know, you can buy pretty much anything online these days, especially from Chinese websites like Alibaba. And I mean anything, even cars. These aren't just a bunch of kids' pedal cars though. Oh no, these are actual real driving cars, and they're some of the weirdest vehicles I've ever seen. So here's my list of the best and oddest cars you can buy from Alibaba. The Pagani Huayra is an awesome car. It looks absolutely stunning and it gets an epic twin-turbo V12 engine with 730 horsepower. But Matt, what if I want a convertible Huayra, I hear you say? It's not a problem because you can buy a Huayra convertible on Alibaba, of course, and it only costs £9,500. Okay, so it's not a real Huayra convertible. Of course it's not, it's just a weird looking copy. And to be completely honest, it doesn't even have an engine. Yeah, this thing is called the LTX and it's actually an electric car. But it's not going to be giving Tesla any sleepless nights because its motor only makes 5 horsepower. So it maxes out at just 31 miles an hour. Now this doesn't matter really too much when you consider that most supercar owners just cruise around Monaco or London at walking pace, don't they? So you'll probably fit right in this convertible Huayra. Just don't let anyone catch you plugging it in to charge it, okay? Next on my list is this. Now wait a minute, this is supposed to be a bunch of cheap cars you can buy online. What's a classic Porsche doing here? Well, it's actually a Chinese copy of an old Porsche 356 called the Kingwu sedan. It's not powered by some clattery air-cooled engine like the Porsche though. The Kingwu is actually electric. Problem is it only makes 13 horsepower, so it's all out of puff when you reach 62 miles an hour. Oh dear. Still, at least that makes it quicker than a Renault Twizy. That can only do 50 miles an hour. And the Kingwu costs less, at £8,000. That's 3 grand below a Twizy. The Kingwu also has proper doors and it'll do 125 miles on a charge, which is 55 more than the Renault can manage. See? It's not all bad news, is it? And I know which one I'd rather be seen in. Now, if you want to watch me drive a real Porsche, click on the pop-out banner up there in the top right corner of the screen to watch my in-depth review of the new Porsche 911 Turbo S. It is bonkers. Kingwu doesn't just make copies of old Porsches, they also build a track day car. Yeah, they really do. It's called the Street Racing, and it really reminds me of a certain British track day car. Okay, it's a total rip-off of an aerial atom, isn't it? It's just so blatant. But Kingwu did at least try to do something original because they fitted the street racing with an electric motor. Okay, so it only makes 13 horsepower just like the previous car, but you can pay extra to get a 60 horsepower version. Trouble is, it's a little bit pricey then. It costs £27,000. But then it will do 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds, which is faster than a Honda Civic Type R. And one of them will set you back about £4,000 more. If you're feeling really brave, you can actually do 120 miles an hour in the Kingwu Street Racing. Although, would you want to drive that fast in a car you bought on the internet? If all that sounds a little bit too exciting for you, how about this? It's called the Yantian GMD L05 and it's the perfect car for people who like to dress up as Victorians in their spare time. Yes, that's right. See, it's kind of like a Model T, isn't it? But you can buy it brand new on Alibaba for just £5,900. And don't be fooled by its ye olde design because the Yantian is an electric car. It'll actually do more than 60 miles on a charge, which is okay. Trouble is, its weedy little 7 horsepower motor means it can only manage 90 miles an hour flat out. So those 60 miles are going to take very, very long. Everyone wants a Bugatti, don't they? It's just a shame that they cost millions of pounds. Well, Alibaba has come to the rescue with the GAIAG Bugatti. Okay, I know what you're thinking. It's not exactly the most convincing copy of a Bugatti Chiron, is it? But that's probably because it costs just £5,500. That's almost £2,000 less than a Dacia Sandero. And that's the cheapest new car you can buy in the UK right now. Like almost all of these super cheap Chinese cars, it is electric and it'll only do 35 miles an hour. So it's definitely not going to feel like a real Bugatti to drive then, is it? But it does have 4 seats, so that's 2 more than you get in a Chiron. So you can take twice as many friends for a ride, if you have any friends, after you bought this. Anyway, if you don't fancy a little Bugatti rip-off, they also make a car called the GR8, and it's great. Get it? Yeah, anyway. It's a copy of an Audi R8, and it only costs £5,100. So you could buy 20 for the price of a real R8, if you're that way inclined. I think I'd rather have the real thing though, wouldn't you? Yeah, anyway, click on the pop-out banner up there to watch me drag race 4 generations of the Audi R8, from the original V8 all the way up to the newest V10 Performance. It's a great video if I do say so myself. Next up is the DC Avanti, and it's one of the few cars you can buy on Alibaba that doesn't come from China. Shock horror! It's actually India's first ever supercar. I mean, who saw that coming? It gets an Alcantara interior, 20-inch alloy wheels, and a 6-speed manual gearbox. Best bit though, it comes with a mid-mounted 2-litre Renault engine with 250 horsepower. So it's basically an Alpine A110. Well, maybe an Alpine A110 that's been melted a little bit. It's not exactly a look at is it? And it's not quite as fast as the Alpine either. But hey, 0 to 60 in less than 6 seconds is pretty blooming good. Trouble is, it actually costs £38,000. That's the same price as a brand new Audi S3, and that'll do 0 to 60 in just 4.4 seconds. And trust me, I have timed that car myself. In fact, if you click on the pop-out banner up there, you can watch my in-depth review of that very car. Oh yeah. The Rolls-Royce Cullinan is the most luxurious SUV on the road. But what do you do if you want a Rolls, but your mansion has a really tiny little garage? Well, you could always buy this instead. It's called the Weewee K. It's kind of sound like a kid that's telling its parent that it needs to go to the toilet. But anyway, it's sort of a copy of a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Weewee definitely copied that massive grille. I can't say that name without laughing. Weewee definitely copied that massive grille, but it's a shame they didn't copy the twin-turbo V12 you get in the Rolls, because the K1 only gets a 5 horsepower electric motor. But what do you expect when it only costs £1,300? That's about the same as my Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. It's not as good as my phone though. Anyhow, it probably comes with the same battery as my phone, because the K1 will only manage 28 miles an hour. Click on the pop-out banner up there to watch my in-depth review of the real Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Just dream a little. Alibaba doesn't just sell cut-price electric cars, you can also find a few massive off-roaders on there, like this HJ ATV6. This monster is basically an off-road school bus for people who spend their weekends invading other countries. It's the sort of thing you buy if you think a Mercedes G-Wagon 6x6 is a little bit weedy. It's almost 9 meters long, 2.5 meters high, and comes with an 8.9 litre turbo diesel engine. Okay, so that engine only makes a modest 260 horsepower, which isn't a whole lot considering its size, but it comes with 6-wheel drive and massive 1.4 metre wide tyres, which make it absolutely unstoppable off-road. And it comes with 23 seats, so you can bring the whole extended family along, if you get on, that is. The best bit is that it costs just £87,000, which is actually quite a lot really, but not when you think about how much you're paying per seat. And it's still less than a quarter of the price of a G-Wagon 6x6. So what's not to love? I'm sure you're online now ordering one.